So, Jai Hind to all. So, today's topic is bipolar junction transistor, and this topic has been taken from the subject Fundamentals of Electronics Engineering, and this subject is currently running in the first year syllabus of AQTU. Subject code is BEC 101, and I am Assistant Professor Nehagar in EC Department of AKGEC. So, basically, BJT is a bipolar junction transistor, and here the word that is bipolar, it means BJT is bipolar junction transistor. Bipolar means there are two type of charge carriers in the BJT. That means it has holes and electrons. Holes and electrons, both type of charge carriers play important role in current conduction in the transistor, and it is of two types, PNP and NPN. Generally, a BJT consists of three layers. It is also called a three-layer device or three-terminal device. Three terminals are emitter, base, and collector. So, this is the one terminal, this is the second terminal, and this is the third terminal. Taking an example of PNP transistor. So, here emitter is P and base is N and collector is P. So, while constructing any transistor, we have to keep some points in our mind that the emitter provides the charge carriers. So, the doping of the emitter is high in comparison to base and collector, and the base size is very small, is kept very small, or its doping level is also kept very small, while collector size is very high and its doping is lying between the emitter and base. So, while designing this transistor, emitter is highly doped, base is lightly doped, and and emitter base is always forward bias. Like this is P and this is N, so this will connect with the positive supply and N will connect with the negative supply. So, emitter base junction will be forward biased and base collector region will be reverse biased, like in this way. So, why we are connecting in this way? Because if we connect the emitter and base forward bias, emitter is P type, so it will have a majority of holes. Majority charge carriers are holes here, and these holes, and in B is your N type, and here the majority charge carriers are electrons. So, holes will move from here to here. So, majority charge carriers are flowing from P side to N side, from emitter to base, and base are having the electrons. So, some of the holes will recombine with the electrons present in the base, and rest of the holes will move towards the collector, and this collector and base region is reverse bias. So, if we see the diode, that is N and P, and this is in the reverse bias. So, we know that in reverse bias, minority charge carriers, current flows through the minority charge carriers. In N type, minority charge carriers are the holes. So, this reverse bias across the base and the collector junction, it helps in attracting the majority charge carriers from the emitter towards the collector, because these majority charge carriers are acting as a minority charge carriers across the junction B and C. So, that is why we keep the emitter base junction forward bias and base collector region in the reverse bias. So, these are the NPN transistor. If we take the example of NPN transistor, so here this is your NPN transistor, N, P and N. So, this N will be, this is emitter, this is base and this is collector. This will be reverse bias. This will N will connected with the negative supply and P will connected with the positive supply, and here also this P will be connected with the negative supply and this will be the positive supply, because we have to keep the emitter base forward bias and base collector as reverse bias. So, and here the majority of the electrons will be there. So, electrons will move from here to here, and the direction of current in this case will be like this way, because the opposite direction of the electron movement is the direction of the current. So, first if we take the three terminals of the transistor, this P and P, this is P, this is N and this is P. So, first part is the emitter. So, while designing any transistor, we have to keep some points in our mind, that if we are taking an emitter must be highly doped. It must be highly doped. because it provides the majority charge carriers, and these charge carriers, they contribute to the output current. Basically BJT is used as a amplifier, and it is also used as a switch. Like if we are giving the input current here, that is 2 milliampere, and output current is 20 milliampere. So amplification would be equal to 20 upon 2. 10 times amplification is there. So that's why the doping of the ammeter is always kept high, because it provides the majority charge carriers, and this ammeter base junction is always forward bias. And after that, collector is there. So collector, the main function of the collector is to collect the majority charge carriers that is coming from the ammeter side. So that's why the size of the collector must be very high, and the doping level of the collector should be in between the heavily doped of the ammeter and the light doping of the base. While and the base is always kept small in dimension, its thickness is kept small, and its doping level must be kept very small, because this is the case. This was P and P. So we connect this positive, this is negative, and after that this is positive and this is negative. This is forward biased, this is forward biased, and this is reverse biased. So this part is the base. So holes are coming from here, and it has electrons. So these holes and these electrons, they will recombine, and due to their recombination, base current will flow in this part. Here ammeter current will flow, and here collector current will flow. So this base current this the base is constructed in such a way so that the recombination amount must be minimum, and the base current should be minimum, so that IC must be equal to IE in case of common base configuration. So there are three operating regions of the transistor. It may be operated in cutoff mode, it may be operated in active mode, or it may be operated in saturation mode. So in we have seen, like this was our PNP transistor, P and P, and this is our ammeter, this is our base, and this is our collector. So this was the mode. P and N is connected in ammeter, and base is connected in forward bias, and this is connected in reverse bias. So this is the active mode. This mode is the active mode, when base and ammeter is forward bias and collector base junction is reverse bias. So in this mode, transistor act as a amplifier. Basically in this mode, we use transistor as amplifier. And in cutoff mode, in cutoff mode, this is PNP transistor and P. So this will be in reverse bias, and this will also be in reverse bias. So both will be in reverse bias. This is also reverse bias, and this is also reverse bias. So when we make the ammeter base junction reverse bias and collector base junction reverse bias, both junctions, this is the one of the junction, this is one of the junction. This is the ammeter base junction, and this is the collector base junction. So both junctions are reverse bias. So in that case, if this junction is ammeter base junction is reverse bias, so less amount of majority charge carriers will flow here, or we can say there is no majority charge carriers will be flowing here, because this junction is reverse bias. So input current will be 0. So there will be no output current here. So in that case, IC would also be equal to 0. So in cutoff mode, transistor will act as a open circuit, or it can be considered as off. Transistor will be in off condition, because ammeter base junction is reverse bias, so no majority charge carriers will be able to cross the junction and can reach in the collector junction. After that, saturation region is there. So in saturation region, if we see, this is our PNP transistor. So we will connect this in forward bias, and this N will be in also collector base junction. Is both junctions are forward bias. This is the ammeter base junction, this is forward bias. P is connected with the positive supply, N is connected with the negative supply, and this NP junction is also forward biased. So when we keep both junctions as forward biased, so majority charge carriers are able to cross this part, but due to this positive forward bias here, this current will become 0 here after some time. Like if we keep initially we keep VCB 0, if we keep this VCB 0, so it means only this circuit will be reduced in this way. This is PNP, so we will make this as forward bias, and this we will keeping VCB as 0. So in that case the majority charge carriers will flow into the base, and they are also able to cross this junction, collector base junction. They are also able to cross this collector base junction and will be able to collect in the collector. So at VCB is equal to 0, we are getting IC, maximum IC. So this situation when VCB is 0 and we are getting the maximum current, so that is the saturation region. And after that, if we increase the VCB in the forward bias, so in that case this IC will be reduced to 0. If we plot the characteristics curve, we will be having like this way. This is VCB and this is IC. So this is the situation when VCB is 0, and this is the situation when VCB is forward bias. This is the situation when VCB is reverse bias. So at this region is a saturation region. When VCB is 0 and if we are increasing the VCB in the forward bias, then current is coming to 0. This is the saturation region. And we have seen forward active mode, emitter and base junction and the collector base junction. In active mode, collector base junction is reverse bias and emitter base junction is forward bias. And in cutoff mode, both junctions are in reverse bias. In saturation mode, both junctions are in forward biased. And in this case also we have seen large collector current flows with a small voltage of across the base junction. That I have show you in the graph also. Like this was the graph where I plot VCB here, and here VCB is 0, here VCB is forward bias, and here VCB in reverse bias. This is your IC. So here VCB is 0 and we are getting the current, IC current. So this is the operation of the PNP transistor in active mode. So I have told you that P and P, so this is the emitter and this is the base. We have connected, generally we connect the P with the positive terminal. This should be in forward bias and this should be in reverse bias. So in forward bias, if we do the forward bias, then the majority charge carriers will flow from here to here. And in this if we do the base and collector junction reverse bias, then the minority charge carriers will flow from here to here. But in N side, minority charge carriers are holes, and here the majority charge carriers are holes. So if we combine these two circuits, the majority charge carriers, that are the holes, they will become the minority charge carriers here. That's why emitter base junction is always kept forward bias and collector base junction as reverse bias. Here we can see this emitter or base junction. This is emitter and this is base and this is collector. So emitter base junction is forward bias, so that's why the depletion layer width is very small here. And this base collector junction is for reverse bias, that's why this depletion layer width is very high. And we will also find that this depletion layer is very small. In forward bias, resistance is low. Here resistance will be low and here resistance will be high. Here resistance will be high. And also we will see this is a PNP transistor and we have connected with the P, this is the forward bias and this junction is in reverse bias. And we can see from the figure, majority charge carriers will flow in this way. And these majority charge carriers are the holes. So the direction of current in the circuit, in the device will be like in this way. That's why emitter current will be flowing in this way. And here these holes that is coming from this P side, they will recombine with the electrons in the N side. Due to this recombination, the current IB current flow in the circuit that in this direction. And rest of the holes that are not recombined with the electrons, they will move in the collector side. And they will contribute to the IC current. So from this diagram we can conclude that our IE would be equal to IC plus IB. IE is equal to IC plus IB, and also we can conclude that IC is equal to IC majority plus ICBO plus ICBO. Here IC majority means total collector current. If we see the total collector current, this current is due to the majority charge carriers that is coming from the emitter to the base region or to the collector region. So that majority charge carriers will contribute to the IC majority, and this ICBO is the reverse saturation current. This is the reverse saturation current that we have studied in the diode also. Saturation current, we have seen that if we take the collector base junction, base is N and this is P, so it is reverse bias, like in this way. If this is the base region and this is the collector region, so collector base region is if we take only collector and base region, they are acting as a diode, PN junction diode, which are in reverse bias. So in reverse bias we know that current flows only due to the minority charge carriers, and that are these minority charge carriers are holes actually here. So this current that is flowing due to the minority charge carrier, this current is called the reverse saturation current. Like in PN junction diode, graph is like this is the forward bias characteristics and this is the reverse bias characteristics. So this current is the reverse saturation current. So this reverse saturation current is indicated by here ICBO. ICBO means collector to base. This is the collector to base with emitter open. This ICBO stands for collector to base with emitter open. It means there is no biasing at the, if we do not connect any biasing in the this side, emitter base junction is open, means we have not applied any forward bias to P emitter base junction, we have given only reverse bias to the N and P junction. So in that case, current due to the minority charge carriers will flow, and that current will be your reverse saturation current. So we have seen that the IC current will be due to the IC majority plus ICBO. ICBO is the reverse saturation current and ICBO stands for collector to base with emitter open. Okay, so we have studied about the transistor and the basics of the transistor. Transistor is called a bipolar transistor because both of the charge carriers, holes and electrons, they are involved in the current conduction, and it has transistor is connected in the three configurations. First one is the common base, second one is the common emitter, and third one is the common collector. Three configurations are there. So first configuration is the common base configuration, and these three configurations are generally taken because they have in common base applications they are generally used in high frequency applications. High frequency application, and common emitter is generally used in amplifier as an amplifier, and common collector is used in impedance matching. So all of the three configurations, they have a different application. So based on the applications in our hand, we can use any configuration. And common base means like base is common. This base is common at the input side and at the output side. So if we take this configuration P and P, so P and P, here P is the emitter, this is the base, and this is the collector. So emitter base is forward bias, this plus minus, and base collector is reverse bias. This is forward bias and this is the reverse bias. So here common base, we can see here base, our base is common at the, this is the input circuit, this is the input circuit, and this is the output circuit. So common base is base is common in between the input and output. So this is the input side and this is the output side, and base is in the input side and base is in the output side also. So here we can see in direction of, this is a PNP transistor, so majority of charge carriers are flowing in this way. That's why direction of current is I here, and IB is here, and IC is here. And if we take a NPN transistor, so in NPN transistor, N, P, N, this will be forward bias and this will be reverse bias. Okay, so direction of current will be in this way, because electrons will flow from here to here, and the direction of current will be in the opposite direction of the flow of electrons. So that's why current will flow in this direction and emitter current will flow in this direction. That's why here base current will be like in this way, because IE always equal to IB plus IC. And this is the symbol of the transistor. How we can make a symbol of the transistor like in this way. This is our collector, this is our base, and this is our emitter. So if this is a PNP transistor, it means collector is P, base is N, and emitter is P, and direction of current will be always from P to N. So, and this arrow will be always in the emitter. We cannot place this arrow in the collector side. We always place this arrow in the emitter side, and direction of the arrow will be from P to N. So that's why this is the symbol for the PNP transistor. And for NPN transistor, it would be base, collector, emitter. This is NPN. So this would be your N, this would be your P, and this would be your N. So direction of current will be like in this way, from P to N. So these are the symbols that we generally use for the common base, any type of transistor, NPN transistor or PNP transistor. And we can connect this transistor in common base configuration also. Like this transistor, this is the P, N, and P. This is our emitter side. So base emitter side is forward bias. So we will do this forward bias like in this way, and here it would be reverse biased like in this way. Okay, so this is how we can connect a transistor in common base configuration. And these are the input and output characteristics of the transistor in common base configuration. So we have seen like in common base configuration, this was the common base configuration. This is emitter, this is base, and this is collector. And we are taking the PNP transistor, P and P. So direction of current will be in this way, and your emitter, this part will be forward bias, and this part will be reverse bias. Collector base junction is reverse bias and emitter base junction is forward bias. So this is direction of current will be, IE will be, arrow is in this direction, so current IE would be in this direction. So this is the direction of IE. So IE is the sum of IB plus IC, so it would be IB and IC here, because IE is the sum of IB plus IC. That's why this is written here. Okay, so this is IC is written here. So if we see the at input side, input characteristics is generally plotted between the input voltage and input current at constant output voltage. So at input circuit, this is our input circuit. Here voltage is the VBE and current in input current is IE, and output side we have a potential VCB. So input characteristics will be plotted in between VBE and IE at constant VCB, and output characteristics will be plotted in between the at output side we are getting the IC current this, and VCB potential VCB and IC at constant IE. So these two things we have to keep in mind while plotting the input characteristics. We have to plot the graph in between the VBE and IE while keeping VCB constant, and for output characteristics we have to plot the graph in between VCB and IC while keeping emitter current constant. So this is the graph, this is our VBE and this is our emitter current IE. So we can see in this base emitter junction is our forward bias. So in that if we see the forward bias junction, This is similarly like a PN junction diode that is forward biased. And if a diode is forward biased, so its VI characteristics is like this way. It will start conducting at nearly 0.6 or 0.7 volt if it is a silicon diode. So this characteristics curve, so in this mode, when we see the input characteristics, this common base configuration, the transistor acts as a normal PN junction diode, and it has a characteristics similarly with the PN junction diode. And if we increase the VCB here 1 volt, VCB 10 volt and 20 volt, it means we are increasing the reverse bias potential. This graph is plotted while keeping the VCB value at 1 volt, and this is plotted when VCB at the 10 volt, and this is the when VCB at 20 volt. So it means if we are increasing the VCB value, means we are increasing the reverse bias voltage. So we can see our IE values shifted towards the less amount of VBE, because in that case if we increase the VCB, it means the reverse bias potential across this collector base junction will be increasing. So more number of charge carriers will be attracted toward this side, and that's why IE will increase. So by increasing VCB, we can see the value of IE will also increase if we keep this VB as constant. So this is the input characteristic curve, and here we can also see that our input impedance, if we find out this input impedance, this is the VBE and this is the IE. Input impedance RI is equal to delta VBE upon delta IE. So VBE is very small and IE is very high. So that's why this input impedance will be very low in this case of common base configuration. And this is the output characteristics of the common base configuration. So output characteristics will be plotted in between the IC and VCB at constant IE. So here we can see this is the VCB axis and this is the IC axis, and if we are increasing the VCB, IC increases and it becomes constant after some time. And this graph is plotted when IE is equal to 0, IE is equal to 1 milliampere, IE is equal to 2 milliampere at different value, keeping the value of IE as constant. We are plotting the graph in between the IC and VCB. And also here we can see the equation is like we have seen two equations, IE is equal to IC plus IB, and also IC is equal to IC majority plus ICBO, and we can also write it as alpha IE plus ICBO. Okay, so if we keep IE as 0, so your IC would be equal to ICBO. That's why we can see here IE is equal to 0 and our IC is nearly touching this horizontal axis, because this ICBO is reverse saturation current and its range in the microampere. It's very small, so we can neglect this amount of ICBO. That's why if IE is 0, we can say that IC would also be 0, and we can plot this graph IC versus VCB at horizontal axis when the IE is 0. So, and we can also know that if this ICBO is negligible, like IC is equal to alpha IE plus ICBO, and ICBO is negligible because it is a reverse saturation current. So IE is equal to alpha IC is equal to alpha IE, and value of alpha is generally lying in between the 0.95 to 0.99. So this IC and this IE is nearly equal in case of common base configuration. That's why common base configuration is generally not used for the amplification purpose. There is current gain in the case of common base configuration is nearly equal to unity. We can see IC or IE, they are both are same. So that's why here we can see if IE is 1 milliampere, So here the value of IC would also be 1 milliampere. This is 3 milliampere. So this value will also be 3 milliampere. So this is how we will plot the output characteristic. And these are the active, cutoff and the saturation region. In the previous graph we have seen these are the characteristics that we are getting. So this region is the active region and this region is the cutoff region, because in cutoff region IC would become 0. So this is the reason when your IC is 0, and here this is the saturation region is there, and here there is a active region is there. And this is the amplification factor alpha, and this value would be alpha. I have told you this is the ratio of the output current upon input current, that is IC upon IE. So and this IC can also be written as alpha IE plus ICBO. So if this alpha is calculated on DC current, then it will be your alpha DC is equal to IC upon IE, and if it will be alpha AC, then it will be delta IC upon delta IE, and it will be constant VCB. This is calculated while keeping VCB constant. So this is about the common base configuration. Common base configuration is generally used for high frequency applications. It is not generally preferred for the amplification purpose. In next lecture we will discuss about the common emitter configuration. Thank you.